This is my audience. And the optic pathway is a process by which visual stimuli are processed by our nervous system. This is a topic I am familiar with as I have been studying it in my APA class and I have conducted research on it. Hi, my name is Alexandra and I will be doing an informative speech today. The optic pathway begins in the retina. According to the NLM, the retina is made up of 10 layers, all of which serve a distinct function. Today we'll be discussing the process by which we see. I'll be sharing 3 main points along the optic pathway: the retina, the optic nerve, and the occipital lobe. The research for this speech was found in the National Library of Medicine, Science Direct, Very Well Health, and CVI, now Perkins School for the Blind. First, let's discuss how visual stimuli pass through the retina. According to the National Library of Medicine, the photoreceptor layer is one of the layers in the retina. It consists of rods and cones, which are photoreceptors that allow us to see low light rods and then colored cones. The ganglion cells are also located in the retina, and they are responsible for conveying information from the retina to the rest of the brain. They are described by the National Library of Medicine as sort of messengers. The nerve fiber layer contains axons through which signal streams through the retina. Very Well Health describes axons as thin fibers that connect neurons so that they can communicate. The National Library of Medicine also describes 2 types of fibers in the retina. These are the temporal and the nasal fibers that connect both of the eye stimuli. After the stimuli is processed through the nerves in the retina, the information is passed on to the optic nerve. Science Direct states that visual stimuli passes through the retina and into the brain through the optic nerve. According to Science Direct, the nerve fibers from different areas of the brain become more organized as they go down the optic nerve. At the end of the optic nerve, as Science Direct states, the retinal nerve fibers connect with other visual pathway nerves in the lateral genicular nucleus, also known as LGN. This is located in the thalamus. The information is then conveyed to the visual cortex in the occipital lobe. Once the information passes through the optic nerve, it enters the visual cortex. The visual cortex is where images received from the retina begin to be processed, as stated in the CVI, now Perkins School for the Blind. The visual cortex has 6 different layers. Experiments conducted by Hubble and Wiesel are described in the CVI. They show that there are many different types of receptive fields in the neurons of the visual cortex. In the visual cortex, depth perception is processed. The CVI states that form, color, and motion are also perceived. The CVI states that there are 4 receptive fields: simple, complex, hypercomplex, and higher order hypercomplex. According to the CVI, simple receptive field cells respond to a slit of light of particular width, slant, or orientation and place on the retina. On the other hand, complex receptive fields respond to slit-shaped stimuli also, but over a much larger area of the retina rather than a specific place. In addition, the CVI explains that for hypercomplex fields, the line stimulus must in addition be of a certain length. Cells with higher order hypercomplex fields require more elaborate visual stimuli to respond. There are also columns of cells with similar properties. Some respond to only one eye and are monocular, others respond to both eyes and are considered binocular. These fields, in addition to the columns of cells, are the tools our brains use to process the information given to us by the visual stimuli, which is the process by which we can see. What we have just covered is the visual cortex, where the visual pathway ends. Today we have discussed the optic pathway and covered 3 major steps in this process: the retina, the optic nerve, and the visual cortex. This process all began in the retina, a region that is about 6 millimeters in diameter according to Science Direct. Such a small area is what is responsible for beginning the process of sight. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I hope you enjoyed learning about the optic pathway. And then these are my works cited. These sources are in MLA format, and they are listed alphabetically when there is more than one source. The citations prevent legal issues such as plagiarism and potential lawsuits. Okay, and this is my audience.